Hello everyone, and welcome to the University of Derby. My name is Dr. Karen Spencer and I'm the Programme Leader for the Criminal Psychology degrees. Before I go on to tell you about our programmes, I'd like to read the following statement. This presentation is correct at the time of delivery, but it is subject to change. We review the content of our courses regularly, making changes where necessary to improve your experience and graduate prospects. For the latest information, please visit our website www.derby.ac.uk. So a little bit about our programmes. We offer two at the University of Derby, the BSc Honours in Criminal Psychology, which is a 3-year course, and the BSc Honours in Criminal Psychology with Foundation Year, which lasts for 4 years. Both are accredited by the British Psychological Society. The aims of both are to transform you as a person and to help you achieve your maximum potential. We do this by providing you with the knowledge and skills that future employers will be looking for, and so to set you on the stepping stones for a successful career. It's important that you enjoy your degree, and so we offer a level of flexibility of choice in our modules in our 3rd year. So you will find something there, I'm sure, that meet your personal interests and aspirations. So why choose criminal psychology at Derby? Well, I think there are several very good reasons. The first is the facilities. We have a mock police station, a mock prison cell and a mock courtroom, all of which are used in your teaching. We also have several very exciting pieces of equipment such as a lie detector test and an observation room with a 2-way mirror where you can observe without being observed. I'm sure you've seen this sort of thing on the TV. We also try to take our students on field trips. So last year our first years went on a trip to the Holocaust Centre at Nottingham, and our 3rd years went to Berlin. Whilst we were there, we visited the Sachsenhausen Memorial, which was the very first concentration camp set up under the Nazi regime, and the Stasi Museum, which is where the communists used to interrogate their prisoners. You'll be taught by academics with world-class knowledge. They'll share with you their research and analytical skills. But as well as that, you're taught by practitioners, people who've actually worked within the criminal justice system. And as such, they're able to bring a real-world application to the knowledge that they share with you. The degree is also the first stepping stone on the route to becoming a forensic psychologist, but I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. But for those of you who may not want to be a forensic psychologist, there are other areas of the criminal justice system that may be of interest to you. So in your third year, by choosing the 2 youth justice modules, you can in actual effect get another qualification, which is called the Youth Justice in Effective Practice Certificate. So what actually is criminal or forensic psychology? Well, at its simplest level, it's the interface between criminology and psychology. So as most of you probably know, psychology is the study of the thoughts, intentions, motivations, and reactions of humans in their everyday behaviours. Well, criminal psychology or forensic psychology is exactly the same, except in the context of their offences, their offending behaviours, their crimes. It is a growing field, and as such, the British Psychological Society has a division dedicated to forensic psychology. So let's have a little look at the course content. You'll notice that you study 6 modules in each of the years, except for the final year where you study 5 modules. Each module is worth 20 credits, apart from the criminal psychology dissertation, which is worth 40 credits. Altogether, that's 360 credits. You'll study 3 modules in the autumn semester and 3 modules in the spring semester of each of the years. You'll see from the slide that we study the biological, social, developmental and cognitive paradigms in year 1 and in year 2. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in the next slide. We also start you off quite early looking at research methods. But don't worry, those of you who did research methods at A-level, you don't need to bring your calculator with you. In the third year, you've got 3 options to choose from, as well as your advanced knowledge production module and your criminal psychology dissertation. As I mentioned earlier, there are about 12 or 14 different modules available for you to choose from. So for an up-to-date list of what is available, have a look on our website. So as I mentioned in the previous slide, the 5 paradigms of psychology, social, biological, developmental, cognitive and individual differences underpin all of your teaching. At level 4, or the first year, you study social, biological, developmental and cognitive from a theoretical perspective. In that year, you'll be introduced to a case study, a recording of a real-life offender, someone I worked with when I was working within the prison system. And we will use these 4 paradigms to try to explain his behaviour. In the second year, the same 4 paradigms are studied, but this time much more from an applied perspective. So what happens is if possible, we will bring in for you to meet some ex-offenders, so people who have spent prison sentences, and you'll be able to talk to them and understand the paradigms from their own experiences. But we will also look at those paradigms in the context of different types of offences. The individual differences paradigm is taught in both of the research methods at level 5 in the second year of the degree. As I mentioned earlier, the degree is also the first step on the ladder towards becoming a forensic psychologist. The second step of the ladder is the master's degree. We offer one at the University of Derby, the MSc, in Forensic and Criminal Psychology. This is not only a master's degree, but also counts as stage 1 towards chartership. Stage 2 is the work in practice. So basically you go out and hopefully get a job within the criminal justice system. You work, you're paid for that work obviously, but you are a trainee during that time, and you will during the course of that time produce a portfolio. Most people can do it within 2 years, but I think that some take longer. It can take up to 5 years to do. At the end of that time, you submit your portfolio to the British Psychological Society, and if they approve it, then you can apply to the HCPC for registration. So you can see, to become a forensic psychologist takes several years and a lot of dedication. So here's your teaching team. We are all chartered psychologists on the teaching team. You can see me there in the top left-hand corner. I came into academia quite late, having worked in practice for a number of years. I worked at one of the largest rehabilitation treatment facilities for people who have committed sexual offences, and I'm also a serving magistrate. Dr. Henriette Bergstrom is from Norway. I always think it's interesting talking to Henriette because if you look at the differences in offending rates between the UK and Norway, they're quite huge. So we have something between 59 and 69% reoffending or recidivism in this country. In Norway, their figures are closer to 14%, and I think this has a lot to do with the fact that they are not purely a punitive society, but also invest heavily in rehabilitation of their offenders. Joanna Adekari is her area of expertise is domestic violence, and in particular the impact that experiencing domestic violence in the family has on children. Dr. Valeria Abreu she's from Mexico, and her area of expertise is murder. Dr. Henry Lennon, his area of expertise is social psychology. Dr. Sophia Taksky looked at geographical profiling and worked under the very famous Professor David Cantor. Dr. Jess Eaton, her area is victimology, and she runs a separate charity called Victim Focus. You might want to look her up on the internet. Dr. Tom Page, his area of expertise was harassment. There are two further members of staff not appearing on that slide. That is Dr. Rachel Wheatley, who is a practicing forensic psychologist in one of the Midlands' largest forensic settings, and also Dr. Dean Fido, who has just joined us, and his area of expertise is revenge porn and upskirting. All of the lecturers, as I mentioned earlier, are research active, and wherever possible we try to get you involved in our research. And the following slide just lists some of the areas that we're currently active in. Some of you watching this presentation may not want to become forensic psychologists, and so what I wanted to do was show you that there were many other careers that you could embark upon with a degree in criminal psychology. So for example, probation is one of the biggest employers, either as a probation officer or an offender manager in the community, or an offender manager or offender supervisor in a prison environment. The Youth Justice Board and youth offending teams are also big employers, as is the Offender Behaviour Programme Facilitator. Now this is a job in its own right, which you can do straight from degree, but if you stayed on to do your master's degree with the intention of becoming a forensic psychologist, many students use this as a stepping stone to becoming a forensic psychologist. Prison officer or fast track to governor. So with a degree you can actually go on the fast track scheme. Working within mental health, there are several occupations there that some of our students choose to go down that route, or government roles, policymakers, local government, researchers and so on. And what many people don't know is you can actually, with a forensic or criminal psychology degree, work for various crime agencies, for example, criminal intelligence analysts, or crime scene investigators, for example. Also, if you look at the adverts, criminals or forensic psychology is one of the skills that they list. So that brings me to the end of my presentation. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to contact me. My email address is on this slide. And with that, I'd like to say thank you very much for listening, and please enjoy the rest of your day.